Thank you very much. I have to say, first of all, that I'm seriously wondering and worrying how the heat is going to, what it's going to do to the pipes. Whatever about me, I don't care. But uilleann pipes would not be accustomed to this level of heat and so on. Uilleann pipes much more accustomed to good old-fashioned heavy rain and blustery winds and stuff. And they thrive in those conditions. So it's a little bit worrying. That's why the fan is here and etc., etc. Just a little note of warning. God, I can feel heat everywhere. The poor pipes. If anybody, incidentally, has a question about the pipes or about me or about, you know, the music or anything, please feel free to ask or comment. I'm sure if you get bored with that, you can. Did I hear a question already?
What is the meaning of life?
The meaning of life? You're just going to find out now when I blow up this set of pipes. I'll begin with a tune, what we call at home among traditional musicians a slow air. It's a song tune. And this particular one, in Irish, it's called An Buachal Cael Dubh, which means the dark, slender boy. And it's one of many typical of sort of love songs where, in this particular case, this woman can't achieve any sort of satisfactory relationship or whatever with this man. She can't get the man. But it's a really beautiful tune. In fact, there's a strong body of people feel that An Buachal Cael Dubh wasn't in fact a dark, slender youth, but actually a bottle of Guinness. I tell you, if that's the case, and some people really believe it is, this is some tribute to a bottle of Guinness. Here goes.
We're concentrating on you, mate. We're concentrating on you. Forget them.
I'm trying to concentrate.
Good.
That's getting out there okay, is it? Yeah. Great. Good man, Roy. Rob Roy. Very briefly, there may be, I'm sure there are people out there who haven't seen, who may have heard the uilleann pipes before, but who wouldn't have seen it. And it's, as you can see, it's the most difficult instrument. If you're asked to describe it, as it happens to me a lot, say over the radio, can you describe your instrument? I mean, for God's sake, trying to explain to somebody what it looks like and how it works is quite impossible. Very briefly, it's a completely distinctive, distinctively Irish form of pipes, form of bagpipe, and one of the most obvious things is that you have a bellows. I have a bellows under my right arm to provide the air, whereas with most other kinds of pipes you blow into them. And the bellows, as I pump the bellows, the air passes across into this bag under my left arm. And that then becomes a reservoir, like so, a reservoir of air. And as I put pressure on this bag here, it sends the air into the various parts of the instrument. This part of the pipes here is the chanter, and unusually for pipes, it has a range of 2 octaves, and the second octave is got by overblowing, just putting more pressure on the more pressure of air on the reed, or as you would with a tin whistle, you just blow harder to get the second octave. It has, like all sorts of other pipes, drones, and uilleann pipes have 3 drones. They're set underneath this keyed part of the pipes. Get them around here. They're set here, and they're each of the tenor drone is the same note as the lowest note in the chanter, and then each other drone is an octave below that. And the drone reeds are kept in this black portion of the pipes, which is called the stock. And then, I suppose, which is really unique to the uilleann pipes is this keyed part. Each one of the pipes with keys on it is called a regulator. I've no idea, no one knows where this word regulator comes from, but as you heard, these keys in combination provide a harmony accompaniment to the tune. These uilleann pipes, they kind of evolved during the 18th century. No one knows who was the genius who developed the reed that when you overblow it gives the second octave, but it was sometime around 1700, and then reached this state of development about sometime around 1800. I'll play, one of my great musical heroes was an accordion player. He was an uilleann piper, actually. That's not fair. He was a great uilleann piper from County Clare. Anyone been to County Clare? Must have been, great. I have a strong connection with County Clare, and that my mother came from Clare, and I'd be sort of related to the whole Clare tradition in that way. And one of my great musical heroes was a man named Willie Clancy. Came from same town as my mother came, Milltown, Malbay. And Willie died just over 20, well it's more now, it must be 20, I don't know, 25 years ago. And there's a wonderful week that takes place in Milltown, Malbay, called the Willie Clancy Summer School. If you're in Ireland in July time, early July, that's really worth a visit, because it's actually known back in County Clare, among the people who go there, affectionately known as the Willie Week. So Willie Clancy would have approved of that, but it's a great week of music and so on. And one of the great tunes I heard from Willie Clancy was a really unique jig, double jig, a tune with 7 parts. Most of them have, most jig tunes, as you know, would have 2, 3 or 4 parts, but this one is a bit of a monster, really. It's a tune with 7 parts, and it seems to contain just about all the various piping techniques that exist It's a tune called The Gold Ring. Eat your heart out, Michael Flatley.
He hasn't got one.
You know him well, yes?
Yeah.
County Kerry is a county that where there's a very, very powerful fiddle tradition, and indeed I'm connected to County Kerry as well through my father. County Kerry down in the very southwest corner of Ireland, but in the sort of eastern part of the county there's a really powerful fiddle tradition, and one of the great fiddle players there was and I never met the man, but by all accounts he was an extraordinary character, a man named Patrick O'Keefe. And Patrick O'Keefe, early in life, he was a schoolmaster, but early in life he got very bored with being a schoolmaster, and packed it in and decided to become basically a travelling, teaching musician. And he was, besides being especially fond of music, he was especially fond of a little drop of Guinness as well. So he was. These two reels, the first one is named after him actually. It used to be called Speed the Plough, but it's called O'Keefe's Plough. And the second one is a great, really one of the great reels we have, called Colonel Fraser. I mentioned there.
This is Womadelaide.
This is beautiful. During that the uilleann pipes evolved during the 18th century, and I always find it quite extraordinary. It's the 18th century I find extraordinary, not what's going on here in Ireland, because it was the time of the penal laws, which meant that people, all their rights had been taken away from them. Something like 5% or less of the land, 95% or less of the land was owned by about 5% of the people. In other words, everything had been taken away from the ordinary folk. It was ferocious repression and deprivation and so on. And I always think it's extraordinary that, you know, in a situation like that, so much creativity could exist. Traditional music, as we know it, evolved, you know, during the 17th, right through the 18th century and into the 19th century. So it was all during that period. And an instrument like this being able to evolve, I think it's amazing. But together with the music, there was a powerful poetic sort of strand happening as well, and a whole new genre of poetry came into existence called the ashling, which is means vision. These vision poems, basically, in the vision poem, the poet goes out into a wooded area, just like Botanic Park, I suppose, and he sits under a tree or near a river and falls asleep and has this dream, this vision of a beautiful woman. And the beautiful woman is actually the spirit of Ireland. And he goes into great detail about her beauty and so on. And then this woman speaks to him, and basically the whole idea of the poem is that it's giving people hope that the Stuart Redeemer will come back and change everything. But they're really beautiful poems, and they were actually written, the poems were written to be sung to existing tunes. And they're I think some of the finest tunes we have, these ashling tunes. I'll play one of them for you. All these ashlings, the whole thing evolved in Munster, in the southern part of Ireland. This one is called, in Irish, Quish Awan na Shade, which means by the river of gems. I'm going to play a piece of music. It's really the only full-length descriptive piece in the piping tradition, and it's a tune called "The Fox Chase." It was said to be composed, or most of it anyway, composed sometime like 1790 something or other. Anyway, it basically it starts off. This particular version of it is the longest version, and I guess the most complex version. It's a version I heard from the great piper Seamus Ennis, and it starts off with 2 jig tunes. The hunt assembling the huntsmen mounted on their horses, the hounds, and the following field setting off on their day's hunting. Then we hear the tune of On Mothereen Rua, which means the little red fox. It's his special tune. And really the whole piece is kind of built around this piece of music, which is a very, very old piece of music. Then the tempo changes. The hounds have spotted or found the scent of the fox, and the chase begins, but the music tails off. The hounds have lost their scent. And this happens several times until finally the hounds get onto a really good scent, and the chase begins in earnest. And eventually poor fox is caught and killed, and you're left in no doubt because there's great wailing sounds. That's followed then by the a slow air tune, which is a lament for the dead fox. Really an incredibly poignant piece of music. And then the whole thing finishes with a tune called The Fox Hunter's Jig, which is, I guess, in celebration at the success of the day's hunting. So here's The Fox Chase. It's quite a long piece, so I'm going to finish with this. Thank you very, very much. Thank you. A great pleasure. Thank you very much.